So I swapped out the battery in my phone, and I wanted to kind of go over some of the things that I found. I have experience messing around with laptops, fixing laptops in the past, and this was kind of similar, kind of not. This case here has glue on the back, and I'm gonna edit in some pictures on the side, hopefully to kind of show what I'm talking about because I'm kind of done now. I did video yesterday on it, and the video did not turn out right. But I wanted to talk about this. If you're thinking about, hey, I can get a $15 kit like I did, and I'll put that link to that kit on Amazon in the description. Should I do that, or should I pay the $60? I would be inclined at this point to not ever try this again myself. Obviously, this is completely up to you, but if you're looking for feedback on that, the guy said it was going to be a half an hour. It was going to be $60. This kit was $15, free shipping, and ultimately it took me an hour and 10 minutes to do, and I ran the risk of destroying my phone through the entire process. So I just wanted to talk about what it took. As far as a summary, it took me about 20 minutes to heat the case up, and I have this old heater here that I used, or this heat gun that I used. This is from Model Aviation when I used to build models. This is for shrinking monocoat or whatever, ultracoat. And it took me about 20 minutes. The phone actually got to the point where it was hot to the touch. It was almost a little difficult to handle before I could get the case to actually separate down here. I did eventually get it to separate after, like I said, 20 minutes. And then it took me another 10 minutes to fully get the case. I'd flipped it open. I did not open up this side of the phone. I used this suction cup, and I'll just be straight up about this. This thing sucks. These little points here on the edge when you're trying to pull it up will just dig into your finger. And there's a dog here. Will dig into your finger, and it's not fun. That other little tool that I've seen where it's kind of a plier looking thing, that would probably be really nice to have. It does get the job done, but not a big fan of this thing. The screwdriver was really cool. This worked really well. The only thing the flathead screwdriver worked well with was popping the battery off, but it made me a little nervous doing it. Because there's so many electrical components around there. I didn't want to scratch the circuit boards that are in there. I did use it, but it made me nervous doing it. So this was my old battery. The new battery that I put in there was fit really well. I kind of had a little problem getting this connector to line up correctly with where it was at. It did eventually go in. It took me another 10 minutes or so. The other tools in here, I wasn't too thrilled with. This little thing here. This bent when I was trying to get the battery in. I actually broke this side off completely. The battery was another thing that I had to do. I had to heat the face up in order to get the battery the way that it sits in here, like this, or it sits underneath everything. The glue is on the bottom side there, so you got to heat this face up in order to get to it. I'm not a big fan. I was really worried about damaging it. I didn't. It took another 10 minutes of heat to get the battery to loosen up, and once the battery loosened up, it came out pretty quick. I also found this old card for my SIM card, and that was kind of nice when I first started to open it up to use it as leverage in there. This thing was kind of worthless. I would say if you're going to use this, this one's really slick and it was hard to hold on to. If you can maybe scuff that surface up both sides, that'd be kind of nice to help pry that open up initially. I use these pliers just for the screws. When I pulled the screws out, I do what I call the screw map, where if I pull it out from the top here, they go over here kind of, and so I know exactly where they go back. One of the screws in the center I thought had some sort of retainer on it. It didn't. It looks like they've used some sort of Loctite or glue or something in there when the manufacturer put it together. There was a connector here and some other connectors over here. There might have been some other ones, but as I was working with the phone, this connector popped loose. So as you're going to seal the phone back up, make sure that all those little connectors, and they're very much like the ones that are on the battery here, make sure those are all seated correctly. That would be my other suggestion. And then I had this plastic putty knife that I used for the battery. Not to put too much pressure, but it was kind of nice to have that. It's just something I had in my garage. So, oh, and the last thing was when I went to seal it back up, I wanted to kind of do a video on, at the end of it, the battery in my camera died, if I didn't already mention that. So I went back to go, let's, film the last piece of it kind of thing, and I couldn't because it had already sealed, and I didn't want to heat it back up to get that battery case open. So if you're concerned about that being, flopping back open, I mean, it's not, again, it is sealed in there. So, yeah, you can save a little bit of money, but I don't think that I'm going to do that again. It's certainly something that was kind of nerve-wracking, a $500-600 phone. I mean, well, a replacement anyway for today if I had to do it. I don't know that I'd do it again. I think I might just pay somebody $60 that knows what they're doing, get it done in a half an hour, and move on. But it's certainly an option. Let me know if you try it. Oh, there was one other thing, security. So the SIM card, which sits up there. The other thing that I didn't like about the process was that I'm going to drop my phone off for a half an hour. And I'd like to get some feedback on this. If you can put it in the comments. I'm not really a phone expert, but the security part of it, having somebody that has my SIM card, it kind of bothered me. You can pop the SIM card out first. It's the first step that you should do anyway when replacing the battery. So I would say pop the SIM card out, then give them your phone, and go from there. But if somebody is a phone expert out there, I'd like to see some comments. I mean, what can you still get? I'm pretty sure there's still memory on the phone. Can you get past that? Can you still see what's going on there? I just didn't want people having my contacts. I got nothing really to hide on there. I just I don't want copies of my contacts out. Being an agent, realtor here in Austin, I just don't want copies of my contacts going out to people. So. Let me know what you think, and if somebody knows more about these phones than I do as far as the security, I'd love to hear your comments. Thanks.